And if your dad is a huge classic car fan, why not take him down to the Motor Muster? That's where hundreds of hot rods will be out on display dating all the way back to the 1930s. 7 Action News reporter Jennifer Ann Wilson live in Dearborn right now looking at some of the cars from the World War II era. Good morning, Jennifer Ann.
That's right. Good morning, Brian, Abel. I know how much you like your coffee, but if you had lived during the World War II era, you'd probably have to give it up. Put your coffee pot here in the scrap yard. There were scrap drives all over the area. Why were these scrap drives so important, Jim?
Well, we're representing summer 1943, right in the middle of World War II, and everything sort of geared towards supplying the troops. So metals, rubber, paper, all things were gathered, recycled, and made into things to support the war.
And this is really interesting because the wartime era really impacted vehicles and how people used them. Now, you think gas is expensive right now, so you're like, I'm rationing my gas. It's so expensive. Gas rations were a real deal back in the World War II era. So tell us about this vehicle.
Right.
Here.
So this is one of our fleet vehicles from the village. It's a 1929 Model A pickup truck, but it's got a sticker on it that represents maybe a farm worker or somebody that would have had more access to a little bit more gasoline. Professional folks. Yeah.
Okay, so this vehicle, they're actually sitting pretty. People are jealous of these gas passes, and I bet they had to protect those passes from people stealing them out of their window.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of things that you read about going on, people trying to cheat the system. But a lot of people put their cars up on blocks for the war. They just didn't drive them. An average person would get an A sticker.
Okay, and this vehicle over here has an A sticker, just like an average person right here. So this would be me, this would be you, this would be just sort of a normal average person. How many gallons does an A sticker get us?
That would get you 4 gallons a week.
4 gallons of gas a week.
Right, and that was it. And
that's not very much.
It isn't, and you know, the point behind that, not necessarily was behind the gas, but really to save the tires. The rubber, the raw material of rubber was very difficult to get, and it was all what we could get was being used for the war effort. So there were no new tires. So when your tires were done, your car was done. Yep, unless you could find a tire. Yep.
Okay, so people walked more, they rode horses.
Yep, and their bicycles. And again, bicycle tires were tough to get to. So you had to really think about how you were going to do things the way you did them before the war. Things changed very, very dramatically in this country on the home front. And that's what we're talking about here today.
And every spot here in Greenfield Village, you're exploring different eras and how what was happening during those eras impacted the vehicles, how they were made, how they were used, and perhaps even how well they were preserved.
That's exactly it. So we're doing the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. We have a bicentennial picnic going on today.
A bicentennial picnic. Well, I like to eat. I like bicentennials.
You probably like bell-bottom pants, too. So
oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
I like it all. I like it all. I like cars. And if you do, too, what time can people come by today?
We open at 9:30, and we're going right to 5 o'clock today. We have nearly 700-plus vehicles on display from those time periods, so it's a great show today.
Wow, I love it. And you might even get a sneak peek at what it takes to drive one of these bad boys. This is my favorite part, Brian Abel. Would you allowed to honk your horn at somebody in front of you with this bad boy?
If only the horn still came like that. That'd be amazing, right? I feel like we need to make that movement happen.